Hi, Nana.
Hello.
Hello.
How's it
Hi.
going?
Hear me, guys?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah.
How's it going?
I'm good. What about you?
We are good. Yeah. I mean, a bit tired a little bit because we gonna face the new phase production this week. So I mean, yeah, I would like to meet you because we have sort of two different language in the class, and also we have a particular site in Korea. So I feel like we need to sort of revisit what's going on behind the scene, right? To understand the situation and to prepare for the next sprint, like the production week. So the most importantly, you have some like difference, right? Because time difference, location difference. So the reason we asked the Darian is, as I mentioned before in the Facebook chat. So we're trying to push you guys to make the best environment as much as we can within the designated time, like 1 week. So I mean, we are here to support you guys. So I guess everything looks great, looks cool. So Darian is also want to work with you, and also Darian is coming. It's 4 a.m. I guess in Korea. Yeah. So, hello, Darian. Yeah. So I guess you guys are okay to dealing with the project. So in this meeting, first of all, we want to clarify what we wanted to achieve throughout this workshop. Okay. Meantime, you guys probably have some question, such as the research. I think the Jonghyun's research is pretty deep. So it's maybe, I mean, once you understand it, it will become really useful for your research. But since this is sort of her dissertation, like a PhD research things, it makes sense. It's pretty tough to understand, right? So maybe we can have time to, get much more clue to understand what her research for Nada Nada, sorry. And then the last subject, I want to talk about you guys' project, the goal. Yeah. So, hey Darian, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So the thought is 4 a.m. right? Is it right? 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. 5 a.m.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I appreciate you to join the meeting. Great. So Dada, can you tell me your thought or your expectation, and then what's your frustration about the meeting or the workshop? Please feel free to share. Yeah. Unmute yourself.
I'm sorry. Well, as I told you yesterday, my main expectation from any workshop that I have participated in was to gain much more vision and insight about how people deal with architecture and urban design in different countries and different method that we deal here in Egypt. Because in my opinion, it's pretty limited vision here that we have. So I wanted to gain more than global insight about that. And this is what I expected, and to learn something new, which you guys, I actually appreciate all the work and effort that you did and still do. This is what I truly expected. I have learned that tool. I have no problems with quite understanding that tool. I find out that the network analysis and so on is pretty profound one, which it's still quite understand for me to have, but I think I'm putting on the right track. Yeah, Jonghyun did a really good job in explaining that, but I still have some difficulties in learning some aspects of that, or on how to use that in my solutions specifically, not learning the concept of itself. So, and this is actually what I also wanted to do a project. I was confused somehow about the project or the shape of the outcome. That I really wanted to gain more insight on that.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your opinion. So, I mean, yeah, as you mentioned, we wanted to clarify what we expect as an outcome. Yeah, we can actually talk about it. Yeah, I think this is the most important thing. So, in my opinion, I mean, the first one, I would like to suggest you guys to, what if we make a sort of independent meeting like this? So the meeting is going to be happening in English. So, I mean, you guys can attend like the Korean version of the meeting, yeah? But because I'm a little, I figured out something, learning the meeting in two different languages pretty like confused, not only for us but also the students. So I guess we can have some separate meeting, but I think we are okay to, particularly for NADA, you can participate in the Korean meeting, yeah, but you can learn something by watching at their work. But I guess we can just focus on the two different sort of meeting, so that we can particularly focus on you guys' project team C, right? What do you think, Jonghyun?
Yeah, I think like anyway, Dalhyun will join Korean meeting.
Yeah, it's up to him. Yeah.
So you guys work together, so Dalhyun can update the meeting, the Korean meeting kind of contents and subject, and he can also, like help you each other, like anyway, you guys should work together. So Dalhyun will have more information about the project and all kind of general idea about the workshop. So Dalhyun can explain to you. So you can also ask Dalhyun what's going on, in other groups. So I think the point is, you through this workshop, you guys also learn how to work together, in a different time zone and in a different languages. So I think that's also kind of very valuable, how to work like international kind of environments. So I think, yeah, I also think that just separate meeting like this is better for you guys, because like in Korean group, like we just use Korean language, and then they can also understand each other very easily and also very effectively, because we have only 5 days left, right? So I think it's better we just do this kind of separate meeting. We just speak in English, and then we can help you out, like develop your own project, you guys project. So I think in terms of the logistic things, I think this kind of way is better.
Yeah, what I mean by that is not necessarily we can create like a very two different meeting, but we can actually concatenate the meeting so that you guys can still participate in a different meeting in Korea. So such as, for example, we can meet you guys first, and then in English, then if you guys busy or sleepy and go to bed, and then we can jump to the Korean version. Otherwise, we can take the Korean version first. Then, I mean, it's fully up to you. So I think I'm trying to drop the topic on the table to discuss, particularly for the meeting time, and then we can clearly, set up a sort of meeting to support your team.
Or what do you think? Like anyway, like this week, this coming week, it'll be all kind of like separate meeting, actually individual meeting by teams, Anyway, so maybe your teams can go first. I don't know, like what time is it there, Dana, now? So
9 in Egypt, I guess. 9
in Egypt. Actually, our regular meeting will be in 5 hours, right? So I don't know, like maybe it's better we just set the kind of meeting daily meeting, like for Discrete and workshop meeting right now?
I really wanted to clarify that I don't really have that problem with the meeting timing. If you guys, this is your time where you're contributing to the meeting in this time or
Yes.
free to do the meeting this time, I have no problem because
Yeah.
I'm so used to staying up very late. Just,
Okay.
I don't sleep before it's 7 a.m. or so, especially
What
on
about,
weekend days.
yeah, what about Dalian? Dalian, it's 4 in the morning in Korea, so you guys can adjust the time. Dalian,
In
Yeah,
my
I mean,
opinion,
you can adjust the time according to you, and I can I have no problem with what time you choose. You can ask Darlene for appropriate time as well.
Oh, so nice coming. It's in 4 a.m. in Korea, right? Okay. Yeah, I think the Nada is okay with the meeting time, so we can. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So what I'm saying is, in any case, in Discrete, we have individual meeting, team A, B, C, right? So, but team A, team B, we can learn in Korean, but you guys, we can speak in English. But
what about, yeah, in terms of time, I just want to fix the like time right now, because anyway, it's kind of, once we just set our logistic issue, we can just go for it, you know, for this week. So Korea is 4 in the morning, and also the Sunga also can join this tutorial like Discrete meeting as well. So maybe what about like, you guys can do like first term, like can start, and then you guys always do the first kind of Discrete, and then the other teams can go next or something like that. Because the NJ start work tomorrow, right? So you cannot join like before 5 p.m. in LA time, right? So what about NJ? Can you join before 5?
yeah, I can do that. Yeah, even if my the work time, I think I can do that.
So like I think like in terms of Discrete, maybe just 30 minutes could be enough, I think. And then if you have like more like Python questions or other questions, maybe we can answer about your questions like separately. Like if you just leave your question on Slack, like other students, like the Python questions or NNA2 question, we can also answer directly through the Slack, and we can just focus on the Discrete, like 30 minutes Discrete every day. Like
Well,
maybe,
otherwise we can. Nada and Darian, please participate in the conversation actively, because we suggest something, but the most important thing is that you guys' decision. So we have no idea. So our goal is not like make a the clear meeting, but more about like listening your voice. So otherwise we can just stick to the old fashion, just in around 9 a.m. in South Korea time. Then we can have a meeting individually, but for team team A and B, we're gonna speak in Korean, and then team C only you can take some separate time to have conversation in English. So I think this is also the option we had.
I think it's going to be good, like just team C, just go first. And then the other teams like team A and B can be after team A, because you guys just do the 30 minutes script first, and then you guys just work, and maybe Dalhyun or Nada, you can still like can continue to join the meeting or just left. It should be fine, because like otherwise you guys just like wait until the end of other teams kind of create a meeting. So it's kind of like very painful sometimes for, especially for Nada, because she cannot understand Korean and like time differences. So like what I can suggest is that team C just always go first for discrete. So Nada, you just to join the regular daily discrete, the together, and then you guys should start first always 30 minutes discrete every day, and then we will continue to have discrete other teams, so that you can just still like enjoy Korean kind of language after your meeting, and or you can just left as well. So what do you think? And maybe today I can catch up for you, like to explain about maybe NNA2 and some concepts which you want to use for your research. I can explain more details about it. And maybe if you can share some kind of your work on screen, we can just look together and we can give you some feedback, and then
and the most importantly, so we try to clarify what is our expectation as an outcome at the end of the day. So I think that helps us, to get the clear idea, and we can focus on the next sprint week. So
yeah, so actually each team has a very
Nada,
different goal.
Nada
Yeah,
wrote something on the chat.
yeah,
Yeah, I was writing when you guys team
Yeah,
for
talk
the
about
timing.
Yeah. Actually, in terms of the final results, actually each team has a very different goal, because each team has a very different kind of interest, because we don't want to push them like our thoughts. We just want to kind of respect, or like kind of bring out, or like their kind of interest, because it could be a good motivation for them as well. So we just quickly talked with Dahyun about you guys kind of work and ideas, but we also want to see the Nada's work or your thought, and then maybe we talk together about what is the goal for Team C. So can you share your work, Nada?
Yeah, opening up the line file.
I think I need to give you some.
Yeah. Are you allowed to share your screen, Nada?
Yeah, I will. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the file is just loading.
Yeah, could you try to share your screen, because I give you the host things to share your screen.
Yeah, sure. I'm just loading up the file. The Rhino file is opening, and I'll be sharing it with them now.
And if possible, maybe Dahyun after Nada, like Dahyun, can you share also your work, some of your work or your idea? And then we can talk about what is the goal for your team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And like in terms of like time limits, like maybe each person just present like 10 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes could be enough.
The screen is loading, but it's really heavy.
We have a lot of plugin add-on for Grasshopper.
Yeah, I've been working with the Grasshopper for quite a few months now.
Huh.
It's the most interesting program for me to work through, so I like to experiment with that. So,
Yeah, we can wait a little bit.
maybe Dalia wants to share first until it loads down. There you go.
Okay, then
Not to waste your time.
no, it's okay. While waiting, may I summarize the conversation you had before I joined? So, in conclusion, we reserve the first slot of the screen
It's for 8
right?
PMC. Yeah.
For like half an hour.
Yeah,
in
half an
priority.
hour. It could be shorter, but like at least
But
30.
anyway, like 6 times so that Nada and Thailand wouldn't waste any time and focus on their teamwork. Okay. And then probably additionally, if they need, we can give them some additional session.
Yeah, additional kind
Or
of.
we can arrange some more, right?
Yeah, particularly questions about like Python or any tools. This kind of workshop if they need like. Also, we understand Dahyun interested in like coding stuff. So but please just actively use Slack. Just bring up questions on Slack and we can answer quickly. Or maybe Dalian, can you explain your interest? Can you like Nada needs some time to prepare her work.
Nada, could you give the Dalia, the host, to share the screen?
Yeah, sure.
Because this is my personal Zoom, so the cheaper one. We have only one.
You can.
Dalia, you can share your screen. Great. You can start present.
Yeah, maybe Dalian, you need to unmute.
We couldn't hear you.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Great.
I'm interested in how can these regions people go to another place safely. So I have I do some ideas between this research on home to park, home to retail, and home to metro, and finally home to retail, and then go to park. So first is home to park research is I use the all home residence data. This is big work. And then another thing is home to metro. Where is the hot place? And then retail entertainment to park. And finally, I simplify the home data and retail data to small number. The whole number is 4,528 to 874, and I retail employment range data simplify 896 to 451. So I have been working on how to simplify the data. So I upload the Grasshopper C# file on our Slack.
Great.
But I just want to there is some different between the original data and edited data. So I just want to have research how many differences between them, and how can I minimize the differences between them.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for the sharing the result. First of all, as we mentioned before, it's actually for not only for Darion and Nada. So once you, in case that you want to capture the sort of result, we want to see not only the legend but also the origin and destination point. So this is sort of a requirement. So please always check the destination and origin on your map. Okay. And also, I mean, yeah, for the simplification, what do you think about it, Sang-hyun?
I think I need to talk with you about like your strategy, how you minimize the points, and what is your logic, and what was your strategy behind when you minimize the number of the points. So I think that could be interesting discussion, because there are multiple ways to minimize the number of points and minimize the value of weight. So can you explain, Dalhyun, how you minimize? What was your strategy when you minimize?
Okay. This is my laptop, and so I don't have file in this computer, but
Maybe you just explain like just using drawing, whatever is fine. Just conceptually explain those, like what was your strategy when you discount the data from 4,000 to 700 or something. Yeah.
My strategy is all the data is points, so I put into the bounding box, and then large bounding box has its center, so I can calculate the center to edge point.
So how do you draw the bounding box? How do you define the bounding box? Can you draw on your map maybe? Like you can use here the
There's the option.
Yeah, there is
annotation here.
Yeah.
It's like this. You can use it. I don't know the menu, but view option. Click the view option if you found it.
View option.
Yeah, view option, and then the menu says annotate.
Okay.
Yeah.
How can I erase this?
There's a clear button among the icon related to annotation. Yeah. Clear. Next to
okay. Thank you. All the regions data is in the whole boundary, and I use the bounding box function in the Rhino command. So I get the bounding box's center like this, and then calculate the distance. I and then I get the max these bounding boxes corners points, and then I can calculate this x distance and y distance, and then I go. And then I make grid like this.
Okay.
For,
Basically, you make some resolution to capture, right, the point, the basic on the
yes,
scale.
so I can add the grid x distance and y distance can manipulate, and then if and then we can adjust this center point to like minus 0.1 minus 0.5 scale. Yeah, and then I can manipulate. I can like this because grid can move something like this, and then I use the for loop for the how many points in the grid, and then my output is two lists. One is the each grid is center point. My strategy is all the points in the grid transform into the one point, and then another list is how many data in the
list
in the grid. For example, first there is a 3 data in the grid. There is a one. First list have these pointers x and y z data value, and the second data is how many points in the grid 3. So I can think next step I can calculate the weight. This data is weight is 3. This point weight 4, 2, 0, like this.
But you know what? There is a one significant problem, I think. Okay, I thank you for describing your work process to us, but you can just erase everything, just clicking the icon. Here, so can I draw something on the screen here? So we have the node edge, just like that, right? I'm just zooming in one of the areas here, right? Just like this. But the most important thing is that the point floating around the map, they need to, we basically discretize this information to the point, the node point, right, in the edge. So probably, I think this makes sense to think like these points, this point belongs to this node, and this point belongs to this node. This point belongs to this node, not based on the grid system. Yeah. So think about this kind of network system. Yeah. We have a point here. Yeah. However, your grid system is happening like this. Yeah. In this case, this point has no node, right? So to make a more precise the let's say data flow, I suggest you to found the point which is closest to node here. The based on the not based on the grid system, but based on the resolution of the node. I think this is the better sort of strategy to simplify the point. If you wanted to work with the graph system, not grid system, does it make sense?
Yes, thanks.
Yeah, but I mean, this is just technical things. So, yeah, you can say.
Yeah, I just have a quick question. So, Darian, you draw like the overall side. You make kind of bounding box like this.
Yeah.
right? And then you just kind of create a grid. Is it correct?
Yes.
And then you just create a central point, right?
For each grade.
Yeah, for
If
each grid,
yeah.
is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you just kind of, in this point, you count the, for example, here, like you count this number of data and then give it to this kind of, these points, right? The number of the point data just put in here. Is it correct? Or
A little bit some different. I use if statement. One grade, if one grade have data in this grade, and then I put some center points in the grid.
because I don't know about like kind of how to build up the data. I think that part the NJ will know, like can explain better, but I just explain you about kind of some domain knowledge, how you kind of optimize the data in the field. Because what we do sometimes is that like we create a, particularly for the like urban scale project, what we do is that instead of use the kind of each housing point, like can you move to the housing map, one of your housing analysis map, like housing accessibility analysis map. Can you move to it? The different page.
Can you repeat again?
Can you move to the like slide with the housing data? Like you did a many between this analysis, but with the housing data, right?
Scroll up, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, as you can see here, like there are lots of like points when we just literally use the housing kind of location, right? It's kind of very heavy data. So one of the in transportation analysis or urban planning analysis, actually instead of use this all actual data, what we usually do is that it's actually this size is okay. We can still use this actual location data, but if we want to analysis a whole Seoul city, it's really heavy data, right? You can imagine, right? So what we usually do is that we create a kind of grid. So it's something kind of, I think your approach, it was kind of okay and kind of good start. Also, we created this kind of grid, and then we central point. We sometimes can use a central point, or some researchers use the edge points as well. It depends on the researcher or depends on the condition. But like this dimension is usually like 100 meters distance. And this one is, I drew something wrong kind of ratio, but this is 100 meter as well. And then we just build the kind of all different kind of the points. And each point can kind of represent this area's kind of conditions. Maybe the central points could be more make sense in this case, I think. So we can say like here, central points can represent this data. So we actually kind of, it could be vary, like for example, total number of housings, right? Total number of housings, or total number of residents. How many people live here, right? Like how many people live here? And how many, how different ages live here, like 20s or like 40s, like 60s, you know? So actually this data, in this data, there are lots of lists. are included for this area. So actually when we research or like analysis the whole city, like if it is like whole Seoul, it looks like this. So and then if we wanna research about the housing issues, actually we use this type of data actually. The data looks like this. There is no actual grid on the map, but the government provide us this kind of data. Like there are a lot of points, you know. Of course, it should be much denser than this, but the ideally is something looks like this. So this, in this region, these points represent everything for this region. Like the income data, could be the income data, average income data, or number of housing data, and so on. So of course, our site is much smaller than that. So what I can suggest is that if you really want to optimize the data, this heavy data, maybe instead of using like 100-meter kind of grid, maybe we can use like 10-meter grid, maybe, because our site is like from here to here is about 500 meter, I think, right? So maybe 10 meter or 25 meter, I don't know, maybe you can try like the test with like different number of size of grid, right? And then you develop your strategy. Yeah, this is kind of kind of like in part of like domain knowledge. So I don't know how this idea can be developed in kind of coding. So,
Yeah, but I guess I think the Jonghyun mentioned is very sort of safe and generic way. I mean, for the urban scale or geographical scale, obviously we need to partition them like as a grid system or bin system, right? And then we can put all the data inside of the particular bin or cell or pixel. I think this is a good approach. Yeah, I mean, this is what Darhyun did, I guess. Is that correct, Darhyun? Hey, Darhyun? So what you did, I'm trying to summarize what you did, right? So you basically create a sort of the grid system on top of this map, right? And then you can try to collect all the possible data inside of this bin, right? Darhyun, can you hear me?
we cannot hear your voice. Can you speak loudly?
Darhyun?
Yeah.
Yeah, so is it correct? I mean,
Yes.
yeah, so I think that this is the right approach to sort of minimize the complexity because it has a lot of like resolution, but now we have like, let's say 10 by 10 grid. So we only have like 100 sort of pixel to visit. I think this is a good approach. And then as a next sort of step, as I mentioned, we have some grid system here. I think this is very similar to what I did in the paper that I presented in the digital future. So it's like how we communicate like continuous data with the discrete data. So the other thing I can suggest to you is based on this sort of node, you can figure it out which point belongs to which. Okay, so I'm going to describe the step. So we have a graph here. And we have a lot of points here. So you need to make a double for loop, right? So we wanted to look through all the points against this node point in order to get which node is closest to one of the particular point here.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So individual point need to look through against all the node in the graph, and then we figure it out. Oh, this node is the closest node to this particular point, and then we add them to here. Well, you can create your own particular graph system, your own data structure, because we know ID of this individual node. So ID 1, 2, 3, 4, up to, I don't know, 100, for example. And then they have a sort of a list, which point is closest this particular node in the graph. I think that this is the correct way in this particular situation. Does it make sense? So that so now we know which node has how many points or what kind of property they have, which is based on the distance. Yeah. So I guess you can create your own sort of let's say data structure, which indicating the relationship between points and the closest node. So now we know the individual node has their own property, so that we can simply apply this number as a weight, like attraction or deviation, or whatever number that you want to apply. Does it make sense?
Yeah, so Tarihan, can you develop this, your coding maybe for next time, and then we can talk more. I think you get kind of like
Yes.
more.
If you need to have, we can have a talk or meeting. I can support you.
To develop your like the C sharp coding. Is it helpful, Dalian? Can you do something kind of make development based on our comments?
Yes, I really want to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So and can we move to Nada? Are you ready, Nada?
Yeah, I have the, okay.
Dalian, could you give host to Nada, so that Nada able to share the screen to us?
When I first talked to Darin, we were talking about making some analysis between the residents of the city and maybe retailing and its journeys to the retail shops and some of the parks and the green areas in the city. So I started working actually making analysis with some of the parks and running up the NA tool into the different analysis to the parks.
Actually,
But
we cannot see your screen. Can you share your screen, Nada?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm not on host.
Okay.
Dalian, can you give host to Nada?
나다 이름에 오른쪽 버튼 클릭하면 호스트 주기 있거든요. 그 호스트 권한을 주셔야 돼요. 미팅에서 오른쪽 버튼 이름에 대고 오른쪽 버튼 클릭하면은 그 more라는 옵션이 있어요. 죄송합니다. 제가
이거 호스트 만들기인가요?
네, 호스트 주세요. 네, 그 사람한테. 나다한테.
아, 네.
네, 나다, you are able to share your screen with us. Great.
Can I see it now? Yeah, I started working actually and running different analysis with work, but I used all the data in the work. It was at the first quite heavy. I didn't try to minimize the data like Darien did, but it did run on my laptop as well. But the points was so big that it didn't actually, I didn't see the color of the point until I zoomed in very much. But right now I'm trying to zoom in to the data to the grasshopper, but it's not actually working. I don't know what's wrong with that.
Nada, instead of using home data, can you just use another type of data maybe? Because home data is a pretty huge. So of course you have a kind of very nice laptop, it could be fine, but maybe once Dahyun optimize the number of points of home data, maybe you can use it.
Yeah, it did run at first when I first made the file a couple of days ago. It was enough, but right now I don't know what's wrong. It's getting heavy whenever I rerun compute the script again. But it did come up with the analysis. I only have problem with the presentations part. I wish I did save images, but I didn't. But the part I was really confused on was on how to reuse the analysis itself and coming up with different solutions. You get what I'm trying to say?
In the previous tutorial in the Python workshop, I'm trying to remember, at the time we learned how we minimize the number of points from the home data. So you can simply create a Python class, a Python component to extract the data based on the ID. I think this is also one possible sort of solution, because you don't need to put like every the entire data set of the home, because it is pretty big.
Yeah.
So we need to create the sort of very efficient workflow rather than just click and waiting. Yeah. Even this is the first component, it takes like 1 minute. And then for the closeness component, it takes 17 seconds. You know, which is a lot.
Yeah.
So what's happening behind the scene? Just click and click on the canvas, or right button on the canvas. Yeah, and the right button on the canvas, graphical canvas.
Yeah.
And just right button.
On the empty canvas.
Yeah, empty canvas. Yeah. Yeah, right button. Okay, so we can see the zoom, right? The zoom. Yeah.
I tried, but it's not working.
Okay. So then I guess I couldn't see the icon because of our picture. Okay, here. So you can see some sort of sub toolbar of the canvas, right? There's a there's a 6 icon, 3 icon and 3 icon. It's about like a renderer. How can I explain? Yeah.
This?
Yeah.
Next one. Yeah, right. Yeah, that one. Can you click it? Great. And then click one of the geometry mesh. Yeah, in this case, correct. Correct. And zoom. Oh, you need to activate the render option. Correct. Yeah, and then try it again. Select the mesh and then click on the right. You can click this zoom. Yeah, this one.
I don't know what's wrong with that.
Interesting. Otherwise, can you set 3 of them, and then click on the empty canvas of the grasshopper. Okay, so I'm trying to ask you the request to control your mouse. Okay. Do you accept? Okay, I'm controlling your computer right now. Okay, this is the network. Yeah.
Yeah, the part of the rendering of the colors of the analysis was the part I was actually having an issue because the color didn't show up until I really zoomed in. Even when I picked the options.
Maybe Nada, can you turn off the preview? It's a bit hard to read the result. So yeah. But Nada, can you understand the each concept, the in-centrality analysis? For example, what is a betweenness and what is a closeness and what is a straightness? Can you understand? Just the
Some of
concept.
them, yeah, some of them I could clearly understand, and some of them are just I'm really confused about this word.
So
Yeah,
did you check
I'm
my
confused
medium?
about maybe the betweenness analysis, but I can really understand the straightness and other analysis. Let me get their names, and the closeness analysis I could really get. I'm having some troubles with the betweenness.
Okay, so I will explain about that because once you just understand the concept, maybe you can go further, I think. So so for the betweenness analysis, if this is the network, for example,
Yes.
and this is let's say the destination here and another destination here, and the origins are like this. Yeah, those are the origins. So the first, the betweenness analysis calculate all the possibilities to get to the destinations. So it could be like this. And for this, but it's just along the shortest path, like shortest path. So from here, also like this, right? And this one is like this, but this point also go to here. You understand the concept?
Yeah.
This one,
It
this
counts
part.
the shortest path.
Yeah, so the what we can know is that first, I will just stop it because you already understand the concept. And then here, when we count, of course, we have to do everything here, but at least with only this number of origins, what we can say is that here, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 digits are occurring here, right? On this path,
Yeah.
right? So if we say like here, how many? Is 4, right?
3.
And here is only 1, right?
Yeah.
So the betweenness analysis is about the total number of generating paths.
Yeah.
And then if I want to know about the betweenness value here, it is 4. But if I want to know about the betweenness value here, is n and 1. You understand the concept? And here, and 4. So n is like total, all possibilities from each the origins. But we have 2 destinations and we use 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 origins. So how many possibilities can be generated in this map? It'll be 4 by 4, 4 by 2, right?
Yeah.
So it'll be the n. And if you know about the betweenness value here, it'll be n and 4. This is the concept. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So actually, this is we call it index value. which means that we are not interested in the absolute value here. What we want to know is that we want to understand the whole areas, for example, like here, what is the trend of here? Like for example, like, so this, of course, we can also count the absolute kind of the visit number here for edge, right? We can also in the NNA toolbox, you can also get the total, just simply count the total number of the visits on each edge. You know which component is it? Do you know that? Can you zoom in to the between is the grasshopper component? Like you can maybe zoom in one of
the
your,
between us.
yeah, between is. Yeah, just zoom in. Yes, just stop here.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just plug in these two, oops, these two out P and out N. This one, if you just, you can check the absolute total number of the visit. Okay, so you will know how many visits will pass by on this edge. You can just literally directly understand how many visits just occur here. But this one, yeah, this component is N, right? P and N. This one showing this number, like N, and actually the total number of something location K.
Yeah.
So actually this value represent about the reflect the realistic footfall in a city context. So if it is a higher value,
Sorry, can you repeat that?
sorry?
Sorry, can you repeat that? You speak.
Yeah, so this value can represent the kind of, is it called the index value, but like you can understand the trend of the city, hierarchy of the city. For example, like if we explained of the false color, right? You remember that? If it is a warm color, which is close to red, and it's a cold color, which close to the blue. So blue color represent a lower value, and red color represent a high value, always. This is the rule.
Yeah.
So if this value represents a higher number, it means that the edge, on the street, there is more people pass by than the other street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it now.
Yeah. So I think once you clear about each concept, you can develop your own hypothesis and strategy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you for clearing that.
Yeah.
I rewatched the other videos. The videos I had some troubles of understanding, but yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So maybe Nada, I think we just started our workshop this week, right? So I think what you can do is that just to develop your hypothesis and research question, and then just to leave it on Slack. Okay, if you are
Okay.
interested in like retail or blah, 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 just to leave like short description about your hypothesis and research question on Slack, and we will think about it. And then you also explain, I want to use betweenness analysis, or I want to use closeness analysis because of this reason and blah, blah, blah. Can you explain on Slack?
Yes.
Yeah. And then we will think about like how we can design your work for the final kind of production thing. Because also other teams, they just began to develop their hypothesis and research interests. So I think for better communication, you just um, uh, leave your thoughts on Slack, and then the tutors will check it, and then we will give you the feedback about that on Slack. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And also in terms of like collaboration with Dalhyun, like what you guys expect, like how you can help each other. Like, what do you expect to Dalhyun, or maybe Dalhyun also expect to Nada or something?
I just want, and we do the analyze the city and then find some strategy.
Or Nada, you also have any idea about like what you expect to Dalhyun, because Nada, you saw his kind of work today as well. So do you expect something?
I think Darren was already cooperative when we first talked, so I have no problem. But what I really wanted was that maybe we can have more communication. Maybe we can have someone, and maybe if we can agree to some point besides Slack, besides using Slack, maybe we can have timing, the perfect timing for communication. For maybe we have a meeting and some time of the day, so it's because I can rearrange my schedule or my timings keeping to that. Maybe I can readjust the timing when we're working and so on.
Okay. Yeah. Anyway, you guys set the kind of daily discrete schedule. So yeah, I think like pretty much the tutors understand what you are doing now and what is your kind of phase now. So yeah, what I suggest is that actively use Slack, just the communication with Dalhyun through Slack, and we will just always we catch up your conversation, and we also can understand what's your like where are you and how you are going. So please use Slack and while you are doing the collaborations, and yeah, first what I can suggest is that please complete your research hypothesis and research question, um, and just leave it on Slack, and we will think about what is your next step and what you guys really need. We will think about that, and we can also talk about it the next meeting, I think. And Nada, you today you kind of understand the fundamental kind of the conceptual meaning of NNA tool, right?
Yeah, I have no problem with the tool. I have just a little bit problem with the concept of the analysis itself, but yeah, it's clear now.
Yeah. So now you understand it. So like just to develop your research hypothesis and question more precisely, and then leave it on Slack. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would also relook about how to manage the data that you have guys mentioned in the workshop. I will rewatch the video. Maybe it's a little bit less of a problem, but yes, I also got what you told Darian about managing the all of the data and the grid system. So I will develop the hypothesis and I will discuss it as well, and with you and Darian as well, and leave it for you to guys. Maybe we can develop it and rework again.
Yeah, I think like the Dalhyun will kind of play with big data and data modification, I think. So maybe for your team, like the other teams might play with like given data, but you guys can generate your own data because Dalian kind of doing some kind of data modification now. So after that, Nada, you take over the Dalian's kind of data modification result and then play with the NNA tool and kind of bring us like new research kind of results by using the modified data. And this kind of progress could be interesting as well. So just think about that possibilities, okay?
And
But
meantime, the Dalian needs more time to, sort of finalizing the function clear way. So meantime, I suggest Nada to play with the NNA tool, not with the the home data. Just think about you can a little bit change our hypothesis. You can use the park as a origin point rather than using the home. Okay, so otherwise, it takes a lot of time. So I think time is important right now. But only we have 1 week. So most of other people, I guess, they already got familiar with the tool. So in order to do this, not use the home data because it takes time, or you can reduce the home data for particular area. And also you can use the park and subway station as origin point. Yeah.
yeah.
It's painful because once you hook up and then you need to wait like more than 1 minute, which is ridiculous. So
Yeah, so Nada just play with the NNA tool with the given data and understand about the tool and try to develop your hypothesis. And Dalian can kind of using C# or Python and kind of modify the given data and maybe bring the external data and try to bring it to the site. And maybe after that, Nada, you also play with the new data and you guys can develop kind of new type of cartographical kind of map for the site. So it could be like one kind of final product as well, like the using the modification data and kind of open the new perspective for the site analysis. So yeah, I think that could be the good approach as well. So now that play with the NNA tool, and now you understand each concept pretty well. So yeah.
also we had an old video on our YouTube channel. So we have a Google Sheet listing all the videos. So I recommend you to come back the video, see what the concept is if you start with the anime tool to understanding, interpreting the result. So
Yeah, but I think for the week ahead, I really agree that you guys need to clarify your hypothesis first, then you can move forward to whatever it is, I think.
yeah, agree.
Yeah.
So I mean, the final result is not going to be like something to save our world. It's just focusing on one interesting hypothesis. So you can make some visualization, or you can make some sort of a number as a result. Yeah.
Yeah, it can be any kind of intervention you can make, right? Regardless of form or any format.
And
Yeah, or like just the data visualization also could be an option as well. So because Dalian really focus on the like kind of like coding stuff and data modification. So
and please use the Slack as Sunga mentioned in our chatting window, because this is only sort of, let's say, gateway to communicate you guys with us. So every time we just check the Slack, what's going on behind the scene. So yeah, even if we have a daily meeting is sort of like communication, but we need time, to understand what's going on about your work. So please leave whatever concern or communication or result on the Slack. Also, Darian, could you tell Nada about some sort of requirement? So the requirement is whenever you generate your image or something to share on the Slack, we have a sort of Google Drive, right? So we need to put the information on the Google Drive according to the Sumin, right? Is that correct, Sumache?
Yes.
So Darian knows this kind of specification. At least for the video, at least you need to take like more than 3 seconds. And for the image, we need to keep the line that Sumin described in the first section. At the time, she also described like how we decomposing the image in the using design. My brain has some problems. Design, like, let's say, I don't know. Yeah, this is sort of a requirement when you generate your own image to share. So, because at the end of the day,
there's a InDesign file and format given by Sumin.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also we have a folder in Google, no, not Google, Google Drive. Yeah, Google Drive. So, Darian, you know the detail, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Please share this sort of information with Dana, so you guys have some unified format to communicate. And then at the end of the day, we can simply zip them and then upload it to the Google Drive. Then you guys good to go.
Yeah.
And please actively use Slack, and we will catch up, you guys. And maybe next meeting we can also save our time as well. So today was the first meeting. So anyway, we appreciate you guys share us your work and your progress and thoughts. But like next time, like it's gonna be very shorter kind of meeting. So it'll be like the 30 minutes like meeting per team. So yeah, please share all your kind of communication and work progress on Slack, and we will catch up. Okay.
So we will have the meeting tomorrow, right? Like 8:30 in Korea time. 3 minutes earlier than normal meeting time.
I think it's just let's meet 9 because NJ you have to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
So we start 9, but you guys always be the first. So you're gonna do the 30 minutes the meeting, and then you can stay at the meeting room, and then you can listen and you can see, but you can also leave and work your individually if everything is okay. So okay, so
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you guys for your time.
Yeah, let's meet tomorrow, right? In the 9 9 a.m. in Korean time. And what time in Egypt? Like 9 in the morning.
It's 10:20 now.
Oh, okay. It's
Right
now.
now. You mean at 9 a.m.?
Yeah.
Right now.
It's 4.
9 a.m. 2.
It's a 2.
2 a.m.
Really?
Yeah. 4 is when we start. When we used to start the session at 11.
Yeah, we're gonna very go quick, like just 30 minutes meeting, but please leave all your questions and progress on Slack, and we will read very thoroughly. And then when we meet with you, we will just give you very kind of core messages. We're gonna deliver you like just in 30 minutes. Okay. Nada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Thank you for meeting today. Yeah. And Seung-ah,
So are we gonna see each other like in 3 hours and a half?
Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow. For this team, tomorrow. Today we're gonna meet with just team A and B. Yeah.
So take a whole day to develop your project.
Yeah.
Then
You
we'll
guys,
see.
should do kind of think and talk and work together. And let's meet tomorrow. Okay.
Great.
Okay, good.
You.
See you tomorrow.
See you.